Who or what got you into the sport of football?
Well, my dad was probably the main reason I started playing football. When I was in second grade, that's when he started getting me into flag league in Dublin. So probably my dad is the main reason I started playing football.
What's your first memory of playing football? What's one thing that stands out to you as really your first memory of playing the sport?
It was probably the DFL Flag League Huskies with our little purple T-shirts and just run around, and that's probably my first real memory, I guess.
Playing the flag league. Dominate that league.
Yeah, I played. Yeah, that's when I started playing quarterback and pretty much just ran the ball all around. So
growing up, what player or players did you look up to and kind of model your game after?
Well, like I said, playing quarterback, Drew Brees was probably my favorite player. When he was at Purdue, I loved just watching him throw and the offense that they ran. And then, up until probably, I guess it was my junior year of high school, I played quarterback. So Drew Brees was my favorite one because I wasn't very tall or anything, and he wasn't either. So that's kind of why I liked him.
What about right now?
Right now, probably just guys in the NFL like Jordan Shipley and Wes Welker and Jordy Nelson, those kind of guys.
You wear the number 7. Is there any story to that, any reason for that, or is that just a random number that you picked?
It's pretty much just that. I wore it, I think, one year in like 4th grade or something, and it just kind of stuck with me all through middle school and high school, and then I guess I got it when I came here.
High school football, just talk about that. Talk about your experience playing high school football and what that was like for you.
Well, I loved always playing under the lights. That was awesome about high school. And then all my friends, I grew up with them. Played all through the middle school and smaller leagues. And then you finally get to play with them, for like a real goal at the in high school. So probably just my friends. This was my favorite thing about playing in high school.
Did you guys win any? How far did you guys get? Did you guys?
My senior year, we lost to Cincinnati St. Xavier in the semifinals. We actually lost in the last probably 10 seconds of the game, which kind of hurt because we had a real good year that year. We were undefeated up until that game. So my senior year, we did pretty well.
When was the first time that you were contacted by a collegiate recruiter or a collegiate coach?
I think I got a piece of mail my sophomore year. It was actually from Central Florida, University of Central Florida, because one of my friends' dads was the offensive coordinator there. So
okay.
he kind of sent everybody, everybody that played, a significant
right.
amount our sophomore year. He sent us all letters. So it was probably then. And then once junior year, I started getting a lot more mail and everything.
You ended up attending Syracuse your freshman year. What were your options in terms of college football? What other schools wanted you to join their program?
Well, I had offers from Duke and Ball State, and then I talked to a lot of MAC schools and like the lower tier Big Ten schools, and then like the academies, Navy, Army, and Air Force. So. But Syracuse was the one who showed the most interest, and they were my first offer, so kind of felt a loyalty to them.
You were redshirted as a freshman. Did you know that you were going to be redshirted before you signed that letter of intent to play there?
I wouldn't say that I didn't know, but I figured I kind of wanted to.
Okay.
Just kind of get used to it. Everybody wants to go in there and play, but I thought it'd be better for me if I did redshirt. So I didn't know specifically I was going to, but I had an idea.
Talk about the process you went through in selecting to attend Syracuse.
Well, like I said, it was my first offer, so I thought that was cool. It was just my first, the first time that's ever happened. I had a really good relationship with Steve Russ, who was the guy who recruited me, who was then the linebackers coach. He was an awesome guy, he was always, calling me, every time he'd be around in Ohio, he'd stop by. And so I really liked him, and then I went on my visit and had so much fun and liked all the coaches. The facilities are, awesome, and it was kind of far away, but I just thought that was the place that I wanted to be.
Just looking at Syracuse and players that have gone through that institution, Jim Brown, Donovan McNabb, Dwight Freeney, Marvin Harrison, Tenard Jackson, David Tyree with the amazing catch in the Super Bowl for the Giants, and ultimately there are 5 Hall of Famers in the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton that went through Syracuse University. Talk about what it was like playing in that prestigious of a program.
I mean, it was awesome. Just every day you walk through the halls, you see those guys' pictures on the wall and everything. There's a lot of tradition there, so it was really awesome being a part of that and everything.
So you ended up transferring after your freshman year. What caused that? Why did you choose to transfer and leave Syracuse?
Well, Steve Russ, who I mentioned before, actually left right before I got there, and I had a great relationship with him, and so did the offensive coordinator. So I got in there. It wasn't quite the same coaching staff, and that I had a real close relationship with. And then after the season, that staff was let go. So then the new staff came in, and I was a little unsure of what was going to happen, and I was kind of impatient, and spring ball wasn't going as well as I'd liked, and so I just missed home too. So I just kind of wanted to get a little closer and keep playing, but I just didn't know if it was going to work out for me there.
Right. You ended up at Eastern Kentucky University. Just explain, again, how you ended up there and the process you went through.
Well, Eastern was a lot closer to home. It was about 3 hours. It's right past Lexington, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, was get closer. And I was still able to be on a full scholarship, so that kind of helped. That kind of played part in my decision, because I was actually either going to go there or come here right after I left Syracuse. I talked to Coach Loth and everything. So I just decided, mostly, more than anything, is just the scholarship money.
What was your experience like there at Eastern Kentucky?
Well, as soon as I got there in camp, I tore my quad, which wasn't ideal, and I ended up playing in a few games. And then in spring ball, I hurt my shoulder and had to have a second shoulder surgery right at the end of spring ball. So that kind of wore on me a little bit. I didn't really like the place, as much as, other places, I guess, other than Syracuse, and as much as I like here. And it's just, again, too far away, and the injuries just kind of set me back there. And I just didn't think that, I wasn't even going to get a chance to play there, just because I'd gotten hurt so much, and they kind of had moved people ahead of me. Just didn't feel like that was the right place for me either.
How did you end up at Otterbein?
Well, we'd been in contact with Coach Loth when I left Syracuse, and he said that there'd be a place for me here whenever I wanted. So I came and just packed up my car at Eastern, and drove straight here, and got together with Coach Loth and got enrolled and everything.
Did you know any of the guys here, or had you played with any of these guys back in high school or anything like that?
Matt Ross was a teammate of mine in high school, and same with Steve Carpenter. So I know Steve was coming here at the same time, and Matt had already been here, and Matt loved it, and Steve obviously liked it. That's why he was coming here. So I was pretty close with them, and they kind of helped in my decision with that. Plus, I knew a lot of other people on the team anyway. Just
looking at your numbers here, in 2010, 39 catches, 538 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's pretty good. But we look back at the 2011 season, 66 catches, 1,133 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Now that's going from good to great, outstanding, tremendous, whatever word you want to use. What do you attribute that jump in production? What do you credit that to?
Well, I think a lot of it is the work I put in the off season. I came away from Eastern with all those injuries. I didn't really, get the work I needed to in the off season. And in this past off season, I worked a lot harder. I got a lot faster. Just worked on everything and was kind of just more into it. Also, Austin Schlosser being a year older, I think he had a good year. He had a great year, and he could give me the ball, and our line was a lot better, I thought. So I think that just everything kind of played a part into that.
Given the fact that you've been at other schools, you've been in other programs, kind of how does this compare? What do you see here at Otterbein, and just your overall experience? What was that like?
Well, I think I just kind of feel at home here. You know, I mean, obviously the longest I've ever stayed at a school. So just got a great relationship with the coaches and all the players. You know, they're all my friends. You know, I want to win for them just as much as myself. You know, so I think just the coaches and the friends and stuff that I made, I just really enjoy.
You know, back to something that we talked about a little bit earlier. You did redshirt your freshman year, so you do have one more year left of eligibility. Are you coming back? Have you decided yet if you're coming back?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play next year, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, you talked to Coach Loth, and he's pretty excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely is. Yep. Cool. So hopefully we got a good year next year.
You know, you guys had a little bit of a down year this season, losing a lot of close games. Your record easily could have been 7-3 instead of 3-7. Just explain what you think you guys need to do to improve that record next season.
I think the off-season work is the most important. You know, we didn't get as many people to things as we would have liked last off-season. You know, so I think we need to work real hard in doing that. You know, be disciplined and get our work done. I think we'll definitely have, maybe pull out those close games we had this year. You know, that we didn't win, get those ones next year. You know, so I think the off-season work is the most important.
You won some accolades, this season. Talk about what those mean to you.
I love it, obviously. I think it's nice being, recognized for the hard work and everything. So I think and then I think it looks good for the school too,
What do you see yourself doing after you leave this place, after you leave Otterbein? What do you see yourself doing? What do you want to do? What are your aspirations?
Well, I'm hoping to have a good year next year, and then I'm just going to keep trying to play football as long as I can. So we'll see what happens, but I'm pretty confident in the fact that I can.